Hi guys, it's Sherry. I hope that you are having a wonderful day. Let's make something so stinking cute. Y'all stay tuned. As most of you know, I have been focused on making stationery sets and stationery holders for the actual stationery itself. And I thought that I would switch gears just a little bit, but stay in the same vein of writing. And so I decided that I would make a box that would hold pens and pencils and everything that we would need to write with. And so I made this wonderful little carrying purse. It'll hold a whole bunch of pens and pencils, and it's such a stylish way to give a gift. And as I was making this, I thought not only would this be a great holder for pens and pencils and scissors and those things, it would also be a great holder for a container of like Bath and Body Works spray or lotions, whatever, or anything of this size to fit in here. So when I tried to put it in, it didn't quite fit. So I decided that what I would do is I would stay with this, but that I would lengthen it just a little bit. So now not only will it hold our pens and pencils and scissors and everything else that we might want to put in it, the one that I'm making today will also hold a full bottle of spray or one of the long tubes of lotion that you might get from Bath and Body Works. So let's get started on making it. And for today's project, I am going to stay down at the riverbank. It's a Hackney & Company illustrated paper, and it is Craft Consortium. So we will be using this paper to make today's project. All right, so to make our box, we're going to need 2 pieces that measure 2.5 by 9.5, 1 piece that measures 2 by 9.5, 2 pieces, and I've already got them mounted to paper, that measure 2 by 2 3/8, and then we have our outside liner piece that measures 9 3/4 by 11. Okay, so the first thing that we want to do is we want to angle our base of our purse. So I'm going to position my ruler on the 2.5 by 9.5 inch pieces, and I am going to come in 1/2 inch, and then I'll come over to 9 and make a mark. And I'll do this on both pieces. So 1/2 inch and at 9. Then I'm going to come back with my ruler, and I am going to take this mark here. I'll position my ruler in the corner, and I'm going to bring it over, and I'll take my pen and make a mark so you guys can see what I'm about to do. So I had my mark here, I angled my ruler out to the corner, and then I'll just come back and cut, and this is going to give me my gorgeous little angle to my purse. And it'll look like that. So then I'll come on the other side and I will do the same thing. So I have it on my mark up here, and then I will just turn my ruler to the edge, bring my pen in, make a mark so that you guys can see what I did, and then I'll come back and I'm just going to trim this off. And now we've got the angle to one part of our bag. And I'll come over and do the same thing over here. Okay, so once we have all of our ends even, we're going to take our chipboard and place it down. So we are going to put down our 2 by 9.5 inch piece. Then we'll come back with one of the 2.5 by 9.5 inch pieces. And we're going to place that down using about 1/8 of an inch in spacing. And then I'm going to turn this around towards me and place the second piece of 2.5 by 9.5 inches. And then all I'm going to do at this point is I am going to come back and just trim off some paper, pretty much following the shape of my chipboard. And then we're going to need to come back and fold all along our edges. And then what we're going to need to do is, because we're going to have to fold this up, we're going to need to get rid of some of this bulk in here. So the easiest way to do it is to take it, fold it so that you get a good crease. And then you're going to have what looks like a triangle. You'll have that crease line in the middle and then the two on the outside. If you just come back and cut those out just like that, don't go all the way up to the chipboard, then you'll be able to put your tabs down a whole lot easier. Okay, so now we can come back with our tape, and I am going to place my tape down. Okay, so once we have our tape down along the edges, we're going to need to miter cut the edges of our board so that we can put this down. And so I'll start over here, and I'm just going to fold up and get all of this nice and stuck, just like that. And you can already see just how cute this bag is going to be. All right, so once we have our body like this, we're going to need to create our liner. And what I'm going to use for the liner is this wonderful paper here, except I want to use this side. So I am going to place this down, and the way that I'm going to do this is I am going to bring in my pen, and I'm just going to trace out the shape of this. And this is going to be a pretty rough trace, but I'll be able to get it done using this. Okay, so you can see my outline on here. And basically all I'm going to do is come back, and I'm going to come in about 1/8 of an inch everywhere that I decide to cut. So I'm going to come in on the inside of that trace mark about 1/8 of an inch. And then I'll just cut. And I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing here at the bottom. So I'll come in about 1/8 of an inch. And I'm going to remove this excess. And now I can come over on my sides, and I'll come in about 1/8 of an inch at this first angle. Then I'll cut down, and I'll bring my ruler, and I'll cut in 1/8 of an inch where the straight portion is. And then I'll bring my ruler in again, and I'm going to cut in at an angle here. And I'll come back and just do a test fit so I can see that top and bottom I'm good. On the side I'm good. So I need to come in at least 1/8 of an inch to be able to fit that on there. For those of you who are buying the kit, I will be sending you just a full sheet of paper, and this portion you'll not need to do your trim and trace and cut yourself, because I'm not really sure how you will be placing your chipboard pieces, and that will determine how large or small your liner needs to be. So I am pleased with how this looks. So now what I'll do is I'll come back and I'm going to place tape on this, and then I'll be right back. All right, guys, so we have got our tape on, and now what I'm going to do is I am going to come back with my reptile glue, and I am going to place glue along the perimeter of my liner sheet. And remember, when I started out with this liner sheet, I started with a 12 by 12. I did a trace, and then I trimmed out. Okay, so now I'll take this piece, and I am just going to get it positioned where it needs to be. Try to get it as even on all four sides as I can. I'll come back with my paper towel, and then I'm going to come back with the bone folder, and we're going to get this stuck down. And now I have a body. So I need to do my side pieces, and I have my pieces already mounted to a piece of paper that I'm going to need to fold over, and we have two pieces that measure 2 by 2 3/8. I've got it taped down, so all I'm going to do is trim out this excess. And I am going to come back with my glue and just place some glue on this board. And then I'm going to stand this up, get this folded over, come back with my bone folder, get that glue worked in, trim out my excess. All right, so now that we have our side pieces cut out, we're going to go ahead and put those on our beautiful little base here. So all I'm going to do is I have got a finished edge here and then 3 raw edges, and I want to put glue on the 3 raw edges only. So I'm just going to trace out some glue. We're going to go all the way around. And now I'll come back and I'm going to position this. So I am simply going to place this down. How far you decide to come in really is personal preference and what you want to put in here. I definitely want a Bath & Body Works bottle to be able to fit in here. So I'm going to bring this one in, and this is definitely going to fit with how far I'm coming in. So let me go ahead and we're going to hold this for just a moment until it dries, and then we'll put the other side in. All right, so our purse is dry enough that we can go ahead and do our other panel. So we're going to take our glue and do exactly what we did on the other side. Now I'm going to take this piece and I am going to just slide it right in here, coming in about the same amount of space that I did on the other side, or as close to it as I can get. And then I'm just going to hold this in place and we'll let it dry. Okay guys, and while the purse body is drying, we're going to need to make our lid. So we need 2 pieces that measure 1 1/2 by 8 1/2, and we need 1 piece that measures 2 by 8 1/2. And then we need our outside liner piece that measures 9 1/2 by 7. And the first thing we'll need to do is take our 2 by 8 1/2 inch piece, place it down in the center, and then we'll bring in one of our 8 1/2 by 1 1/2 inch pieces and place that down using about 1/8 of an inch in spacing. I'm going to flip this over and take my second 1 1/2 by 8 1/2 inch piece and place it down. And now I can come back and just fold over my edges, and I'll miter cut and glue these edges down. All right, so now that I've got my edges taped, I'm simply going to fold over and get this stuck down. All right, guys, so then I have a piece that measures 5 by 8, and that is going to be the inside liner piece for the top. So I already have my tape down on here, and I believe that you can see that sheen. And now I am going to place my glue all along the perimeter. And then I'm going to take this piece and just place it down. Try to get it centered. And I'll come back with my paper towel. We're going to get that glue worked in. And then I'll come back with my bone folder, and we're going to get this stuck down. And so this is how our box is going to look. Now what we get to do is we can go ahead and we can place on our lid. So all I'm going to do is take glue and place it along the bottom half of one of the outside panels. Then I'm going to take this, position it in the front, just to make sure that I've got it nice and straight. And then I'll push it down in the back. All right, so once we have it where we need it to be, I am just going to come back and go on the inside with my bone folder and just really work that glue down so that I can get a nice stick. Then I can take this, fold it over, and this is what we have. So now we can come back with our Velcro and go ahead and get this stuck down. So when I'm placing my Velcro, I place it with the rough piece down on the board, and the fuzzy piece is what will be up here. But before I place it down, I always place just a little bit of glue, because sometimes the Velcro isn't as sticky as we would want it to be, and it might come undone. And then I'm just going to come back and smooth that down so that Velcro can get nice and stuck. And then I'm going to set that to the side so that we can go ahead and make our handle. So now we're going to make our handle. And to make the handle, we need a piece that measures 1 1/2 by 12. And we're going to score this on the 1 1/2 inch side at 3/8 of an inch. We'll turn it to the opposite 1 1/2 inch side and score it at 3/8 of an inch. And now we'll fold and burnish these scores. And then I'll come back with my glue, and I'm just going to place some glue right here on the inside. And fold this over, and we'll get this stuck down. And then I can come back with my bone folder, and I'm just going to curl this just a little, not a whole lot. And then I'll bring my beautiful purse back in, and I am going to take my handle here, and this is how I'll do it. So I am going to take the end and fold it under about an inch, and I'm just eyeballing. And then I'm going to take this and I'll put it on like this, but before I glue it down, I am just going to come back and move it in a little bit so that I can get that arch. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to place some glue right in here. Not a whole lot, just enough to get that stuck down. Then I'll come back to this piece, and I'm going to place it on my middle part of the lid, not the front flap, and I'm going to get this centered as best I can, just like this, and then I'm just going to hold this until this dries. Okay, so now that that is dry, this is how it looks. I did not place any glue on the under flaps yet. We will, but not yet. So the next thing that I want to do is I want to bring in 2 of my thumbtacks, and I am simply going to take those and punch them through. And I'm going to come back with my little needle nose pliers, and I am going to take this and just very gently curve it, and then I'll come back and I'm going to squeeze it so that the point goes down inside of my chipboard. And now I can come back with some glue, place it on this, fold it over, and that hides the mechanics of that thumbtack. So let's come over to the other side and do it. So I'm going to take one of my thumbtacks. I'm going to turn this like this because I'm going to try to get this as even as I can. So I am going to position it right there, and then I'll just punch it through just like that. Then I'll come back with my little needle nose pliers here, and I'm going to give that a gentle bend, and then I'll take it and press it down into the chipboard. So all I'll have is a hump, not something that'll poke through and cut someone. So now I can take this piece, place some glue on it, and we'll get this folded over, and we'll hide the prong of that thumbtack. Okay, and the last thing that I want to do to this one is I want to place just a little burlap flower. Don't think this needs much. I think that just a little flower gives it that cuteness. And now you can see just how gorgeous this looks. So I think that these are just so doggone stinking cute, and I hope that you guys think so as well. So if you have liked this project, and I certainly hope that you have, please hit the like button. If you are not a subscriber to my channel, I would love to have you join my online crafting family. You guys, have a great day, happy crafting, and we'll chat later. Bye.